up and let Jeff handle it without having to be all yippy yappy at the end. You know what I mean? Because she was definitely yippy yappy unnecessarily. It was like she should have known that it's up to Jeff to handle us at that point, not her. You know what I mean? And she just kept talking, and it was like just shut up. Like, we're not talking to you anymore. You know what I mean? So, and again,
you're out of this conversation.
And it was $45. I mean, again, I'd have put down $50+ to square it all up without a problem. But
do you think it was a possibility that when he said to her, comped, okay, and then had a separate conversation, which seemed like it happened between Jeff and Dana, saying they're only comped for the first round,
right?
And then it was let them go ahead and order whatever they want, and then just hit them with the bill after.
Yeah. Well, maybe
it's a possibility.
But here's the deal: if he had been so clear with her up front about the first round being comped, why did he have to have that second conversation with her?
Well, one of the things that I'm wondering is if she took it the same way we did,
right? I think
and
that's
then
the case.
he said, "Oh no,"
and he reiterated,
and now you need to go after them.
Yeah, you're right.
She's
exactly.
like,
exactly. We don't give a shit. Like when we show up to anything like this, if you're kind enough to comp us the first round, we will gladly accept it, and we'll tell our listeners that that's what happened, and we'll pay for the rest of them. We don't care. You know what I mean? We're gonna accurately reflect our experience. You know what I mean? We're not.
Now my question is, he's like, oh well, I'm gonna have to explain this to my manager.
Yeah,
you
remember that, right?
But the thing is that he was counting on us to bring at least 10 people in.
Well, no, I said 4. I said at least 4. I said I thought there was going to be 5 of us.
There was a clear understanding, right? 4 and maybe more.
Maybe
right,
more.
Right. Because if you remember when we were doing the podcast,
he planned on comping everybody's drinks.
Right.
Then what was the big issue?
Right.
We didn't have that much.
Right.
It's not like we. Yep. It's not like we ordered bottles of
even still,
Patron
at the end of the night,
and
well, that's my point. Is that when he said we were comped and we heard comped, even if we had known we were comped for the first round, it's not like we were going to be starting to order shot like you say shots of Patron or fucking where we want nothing but Cosmos with Grey Goose. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't have taken advantage of it like that because we're not assholes.
You guys were drinking Bud Light.
I mean, I'm an asshole, but
I had a Sex on the Beach.
Right.
Woo,
exactly. Right.
But then if you looked at the bill even after, because I actually looked at it real quick.
There was weird shit on there.
There was weird shit on there.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
There was shots. There was, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" None of us had shots.
There was stuff that didn't quite exactly make sense. But I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, Jeff took care of it. It was cool.
It was clear.
And and ultimately, at the end of the day, if from a review standpoint, did you guys have a good time?
I had a great time.
It was great.
Did you have a good time?
The girls
I had a
were
blast.
Amazing.
Yep.
I mean, granted, they were topless, whatever.
Sure.
But the one thing that I did like about
which makes girls amazing. Yeah, that's for sure.
They were very personable.
Right. Exactly. They were really
Camilla,
cool people.
I remember
man.
Camilla. Camilla was one of them. Carol, and then I forget there was another one.
They were really good people, and so I had a really great time too. So did Shay. We had a blast. We had an absolute blast there. So.
Anyway, 4 stars.
Yeah, I would say.
Common Sense 4 stars.
I would say 100% 4 stars.
Foxy Lady, thank you so much for that experience.
Thank
We'll definitely come and visit you once again. So there you go.
Right.
All right. So you mentioned that you recently visited one of the restaurants here in Manchester. What happened?
I had quite the fun little experience. By fun, I mean that in a very sarcastic way. So not that long ago. So okay. My car, right, for some reason has had this recurring issue where when you put the key in the ignition, it gets stuck, right? It won't turn. It won't turn the fucking ignition. I've literally replaced, and I've had the lock tumblers.
Ours does that.
I've had the lock tumblers fixed 3 times over the course of the life of this car. And so last week, we're here at McGarvey's, having a good time. And I go to get in my car. I go to turn the thing. It won't turn, right? It's stuck, completely stuck. I cannot get the key to turn. And we're parked in the Apple Therapy parking lot behind the Wild Rover. And we had no choice but to leave my car, and I knew I had to deal with it the next day. Probably a smart move anyway. So the next day, being a good, responsible person, I go and I say something I go to Apple Therapy, and I call a locksmith, right? Locksmith's telling me he's going to be there at noon, right? Now, my car's already been towed out of that lot once because I left it there for too long, okay? So I know they're going to tow you. So I go over to the Apple Therapy, and I talk to some woman, the front desk broad. I wish I could remember her name. And I was like, hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know, the other night, last night, I parked my car here. I'm having a wicked problem with my ignition. I've got a locksmith coming at noon. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. Can you please not tow me? Because, this is what's up. I'm going to get the car out of here as soon as possible. And her attitude was probably one of the shittiest fucking attitudes I've seen on a person in a long time. And it's funny how sometimes you forget that people can be like that. You know what I mean? We're all real people. We're human beings, okay? All of us on this show. And any one of us in a similar scenario would be like, hey, listen, I totally understand. Sorry for your problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all good. This broad was such an asshole. It was fucking epic. Her first response was, well, you shouldn't have parked there. And I said, listen, I understand. She's like, that's a private parking lot. And I said, well, you know what? I apologize for the fact that I parked there. My intention was only to be parked there for a couple of hours. I don't know if you know what that parking lot looks like at night, but that parking lot is completely filled with people who are going to downtown Manchester. So, again, my intention was to only be parked there for a couple of hours. I didn't expect for this ignition problem to happen. She's like, well, I can't help the fact if you get towed. Like, if the tow truck shows up, there's nothing I can do. And I said, so are you telling me that they're just towing random cars out of that lot? And she said, no. We actually have somebody who monitors the lot for vehicles that have been parked there, whatever. And I said, well, can you do me a favor and just let that person know that I've talked to you and this is my situation? And she said, I can't because you shouldn't have parked there. And I was just like,
unbelievable.
Holy shit. So here's what ended up happening as a result of that. Okay. So I had the locksmith coming. Shay and I had to wait in that parking lot. Now, the locksmith didn't get there until like 1, okay, because he was dealing with some other bullshit. But instead of having one vehicle parked there that shouldn't have been there, they ended up with 2. Because Shay and I had to wait there the entire time out of fear that they were going to friggin' tow my car again. You know what I mean? So they could have just had one car there, not a problem, and been had an ounce of empathy and been like, listen, I totally understand that situation sucks, no problem. I'll let the person that monitors the lot know. But instead of, because she was such a jackass, we ended up having to be in that lot, Shay and I, for well over an hour. Waiting to make sure that a tow truck didn't show up to tow my car out. You know what I mean? So my bottom line here is that I kind of get where she was coming from with the whole like you shouldn't have parked there bullshit. But that fucking lot is only they have business hours. Okay, that fucking Apple Therapy shithole, which I looked them up on Facebook. They've got 3 out of 5 stars. They have a bunch of chains. And
I used to have to go there.
They're rated total shit.
Not the one here in Manchester, the one in Nashville.
Yeah, right, exactly. There's one in Nashville. I think there's one in Salem as well. They're rated total shit. And obviously it's for a good reason.
They told me to go, because I have to go back for physical therapy. Mm-hmm. And one of my options was them in Nashville. And they told me they don't take my insurance.
Yeah, well. Either way, I was pissed that they were such jerks, and it was just totally unnecessary. Like,
did you get your problem fixed ultimately?
I did, yes. Ultimately, the electrician, the locksmith did show up, and it cost me $185, man.
Oh my God,
$185. He had to completely rebuild the tumbler system that makes up my. And this is again, it's the 3rd fucking time over the course of the life of this car that I've had to do that. How many times have you guys ever had? You already said that you've had to do it before.
No.
Most people have never had to deal with this problem before.
When we bought, not the new truck, but the other truck.
Yeah.
When we bought it, they only had one key.
Right. Okay.
And it wasn't even the original key. It was a duplicate key.
Oh, no shit.
So whoever had it must have lost.
So we had to make copies of the duplicate key.
And,
so we have
it was
to
just
make
from a different metal. They start to wear down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things.
We have to, we've actually gone to Foxwoods and had the valet guy come back to get us and said, I can't get your car to start.
Wow. Oh my God.
So I had to go down there with the valet guy, and it takes a little jiggling, and you have to be patient with it because the harder you try to do it.
When those start sticking like that, you're going down a road where there's a day coming up where it just will not turn anymore.
Honestly, it's been doing it for about 4 years.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Well, with mine, as soon as it starts getting sticky, I know I've probably got about 3 or 4 months before there's a day where it's just not going to turn at all. So, Apple Therapy, fuck you. I mean, at least the woman that you have managing the desk at the Manchester Apple Therapy, there was just no reason to be such an asshole. Like, it just, there wasn't.
And you were proactive about it,
right.
which it blows my mind. Hey, listen, you know what? Yeah, I parked there. Forgive me. I just want to give you a heads up. I'm trying to fix the problem
and
here.
Furthermore,
you don't have to be a real bitch about
Furthermore, when she said the whole, like, you shouldn't be parking there, I said, well, listen, just so you know, I've been told by staff at the Rover that that's a good place to park at night. And she says, I kid you not, word for word. She goes, no one at the Rover would ever say that's a good place to park. I said, are you familiar? I said, are you friends with every single staff member at the Rover? And she looked at me like, what? I'm like, don't tell me what they would or wouldn't say. Like, who are you to say, no one at the Rover would ever say that that's a good place to park?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Because I'm sure that I've been told by Rover staff that that's a good place to park at night. You know what I mean? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, Apple Therapy isn't open. They haven't been open for fucking 5 or 6 hours at that point. You know what I mean? That parking lot, I'm sorry. Go to that parking lot right now. Mm-hmm. There's going to be at least a dozen plus cars in that back parking lot. Mine included, by the way. And, and nobody tows any out of there because it's at night. Nobody gives a shit. Mm-hmm. But during the day, hey, listen, I'm really sorry. I get it. I do get it. If my car had been left there, the first time it got towed, I didn't bitch. I never went to Apple Therapy and was like, why did you tow my car? I left my car there because we had been drinking and we decided not to drive. We Ubered home that night. I didn't get my car until like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I was like, okay, well, now I'm going to go get my car. It had been towed. I understood that.
Yeah.
There's signs that clearly state the parking is for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Business hours start at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you're getting towed.
Yeah.
I get that. But, I mean, I was so mad. Anyway, that was my experience, and so there you have it.
Any more reviews? Anybody else?
I actually somebody actually just posted on Facebook, and I was kind of laughing because we literally just talked about it. And it's, it's one of those, I don't know. It says, share if you agree that ABC should cancel The View for their constant hateful remarks after canceling Roseanne over a tweet.
Right. But again, there's a distinction between political and racism. So,
right.
And that's the one thing that really, anyway.
I'll bet you could find numerous examples if you actually took the time to look for them. I guarantee you could find numerous examples
just popped up on my
of
Facebook
The View being racist.
I guarantee. Well,
I guarantee you.
I agree.
Guarantee you.
But I'm going to tell you one thing right now. I know for a fact there's people going to be watching the show going, they're just waiting to see something racial.
Sure,
going to be said on that show and going.
Well, especially now.
Hey, look what Joyce said. Look what Whoopi said.
Right.
Look, did you hear that?
Damn right. Especially
they're going to be waiting. I'm telling you, they're going to be chomping at the bit. They're going to be waiting for that.
They laid themselves a trap on that shit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But you think they don't know that? The hosts of the View don't know that? You know what I mean? They're going to pull their reins in right now because of the same reason. You know what I mean? So reviews fun.
I know. I just sighed because the world is what it is, as they say.
Right.
Just play more bingo.
Play more bingo.
Play more bingo, exactly.
Makes everything better.
Play more bingo. What was that? PMB. Just PMB. PMB, baby.
We are going to take a break. We're going to take a break. No, we're going to take a break, actually.
I'm taking a break.
Actually, I would love to see if we can take a break, but we can't. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have some more Common Sense New Hampshire right here. Live from McGarvey's. We'll be back.
This is Philip Palker from Precision Delivery Solutions. I'm the president and owner of the corporation. We are a truckload carrier regionally based in the Northeast, currently looking for qualified CDL drivers with top pay and benefits for this area. We urge you to give us a call at 1-800-639-3095, extension 1020. That is 1-800-639-3095. extension 10.